All right, I just wanted to share real quick my learnings recently with regard to food. So hopefully this video helps you understand food a little bit better. Prior to this learning, basically, I understood that food had taste, and that was essentially how I judged whether or not I would eat something. And then here and there, I'd have some protein powder because I knew it was helpful to build muscle. But that was my understanding prior to this. There are really kind of three key components with food. Number one is calories. That's basically the amount of energy food gives you, and calories determine essentially your weight. So if you eat more calories than you burn, you're going to gain weight. If you eat less calories than you burn, you're going to lose weight. And if you eat the same number of calories as you burn in a day, you're going to stay the same. So that's point number one. Breaking calories down, you have macronutrients. So those are carbs, fat, and protein. And macronutrients, or macros for short, determine what you look like at the certain weight. So calories determine how much you weigh, macros determine what you look like at that weight. Now, fat is, so excess carbs and fat are stored as fat. Carbohydrates are more easily accessible for energy, so those are used first. Fats are less accessible, and so those are used after carbs. And per gram of macronutrient, fat has the most calories, so they're the most calorie dense. So your body processes those easiest in terms of making energy out of those. So 10 grams of fat and 10 grams of carbs, a lot more calories in 10 grams of fat than carbs, and it's less usable for energy, so it stays in your system longer. Protein is great because you actually burn 30% of the protein that you consume when you eat it. So if you eat 100 grams of protein, you're only getting 70% of the calories, because it actually takes your body 30% to metabolize the protein. The other thing about protein is it helps you build muscle. So long story short, if you have excess carbs and fat in your diet, that gets stored in your fat. If you're higher on the protein level, that will build muscle. And so for an optimum kind of macronutrient profile, you have to actually work with somebody who knows what they're doing. But if you're trying to build muscle, you're going to up your protein intake and decrease sort of your carbs and fat. Now you can't completely get rid of, you shouldn't completely get rid of something like fat, even though, it sounds bad, because it helps with hormone regulation. So you need some fat. And then the third piece, so we've got calories determine how much you weigh, macronutrients or macros determine what you look like at that weight. Micronutrients is kind of the third building block, and those determine how you feel at that weight. So you've got how much you weigh, how you look, and how you feel. Though one very important caveat is, if you start tracking your macros and you start conscientiously losing weight, just by doing that, you're going to feel so much better. So if you're 40, 50, 60, 100 pounds overweight and you lose that, you're going to feel unbelievable compared to what you felt before. Your joints are going to feel better, back pain, knee pain. That's all going to get reduced because there's so much less stress on those joints because you weigh less. Also, your organ function is going to improve a lot. One of the number one indicators of longevity in terms of lifespan is like fat surrounding your fat adjacent to organs, and it just hinders their functionality. And so if you decrease that fat, your longevity is going to go up. Your everything's going to function better. It's like doing yearly maintenance on your lawnmower engine or your snowblower engine or what have you. Just cleaning all that stuff up in there that's gunking it up. So you're going to feel so much better if you lose weight. Now, all other things being equal, if you've got a good macro or micronutrient profile or a bad micronutrient profile, you're going to feel good or bad depending on that piece. The issue I see now, largely in American culture, is kind of putting the cart before the horse, where people are very interested in micronutrients. So they're interested in all the superfoods and you know, putting different sort of powders in their smoothies and blah blah blah, but they're not focused on actually counting the calories. And I know that's kind of the dirty phrase, but they're not focused on actually losing weight, which is kind of the elephant in the room to feeling better. So yeah, a better micronutrient profile will help you, but you're going to feel so much better if you lose 40 pounds, if you have 40 pounds to lose, than if you increase your micronutrients and optimize those. So that's the caveat on the micronutrients piece. Like, that's important, but probably want to get the other two squared away first, or at least calories squared away first. And so again, just kind of the recap: calories determine how much you weigh, macros determine what you look like at that weight, and then micronutrients determine how you feel. Taste is a consideration. It's not the most important consideration, certainly not the only consideration. Yeah, if you're wondering where to get started, I guess, you know, ultimately you want to work with somebody who knows who knows what they're doing and can set you up with a profile based on your goals. But I would say the first step is really to just kind of track what you consume on a daily basis. Most people have no idea how many calories they eat in a day, no idea what their macronutrient profile is, just generally speaking. The regular American diet's going to be super high in carbs and fat, low in protein, and so that's just kind of a given. But in terms of like day-to-day, like what you're doing, I would just start by downloading like MyFitnessPal or any one of these nutrition trackers that's free, and just start tracking what you're eating. Don't have really a specific goal in mind yet, but just kind of understand like where you're at for calories. And that's the first step in understanding how you can lose weight, because a lot of people are like, well, you can lose weight without counting calories. It's such, no, I mean, you can, but not intentionally. The only way you lose weight is consuming less calories than you burn. That's, I mean, it's math. It's simple math. So anybody who tells you that you can lose weight without counting calories is blowing smoke because it sounds good. You have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. That's just how it works. So I'd start there. Just understand what you're eating kind of on a day-to-day basis. Most of us kind of have a routine. Understand what your calorie intake is, and if you're gaining or maintaining weight or losing weight, you understand, okay, I'm in a calorie surplus, I'm in calorie neutral, or I'm in a calorie deficit, and then you can kind of go from there as you tailor it. So hope this was helpful. Wanted to make this video a lot shorter, but it's good information. Hopefully it's helpful for you. See ya.